Hello everyone and welcome to another Star Wars Old Republic video, and this video is going to be a how to make millions of credits video. And I haven't done one of these purely credit tipped videos in a very long time, and I'm quite excited to get this one out there because my some of the most popular videos on my channel are how to make millions of credits videos. And I like to think that those videos are what my channel really got based upon, because it got tons of views, and probably a lot of my subscribers and a lot of my viewers came because they watched those videos. And so I'm really happy to get this one out there as well. And this video is going to be the ultimate guide to buying low and selling high on the GTN. And for those of you who don't know, I don't really like to farm or do heroics or crafting, things that take a lot of time in game, because for me, when I spend my time playing the game, I want to be doing player versus player or other things that I particularly find enjoyable. And I don't really find grinding for credits that enjoyable. Obviously, having those credits at the end, being able to spend them, that's a lot of fun, but the actual process of making those credits can be very hard and meticulous, and I don't like participating in that. But what I like to do is get filthy rich, but do very, very little work. And that's what a lot of my videos revolve around: how to make millions of credits by doing nothing. And one of the best, the absolute best ways to do that is buy low and sell high on the GTN, and that's what this video is. So the purpose of this video is twofold. Firstly, in the background as I talk, I'm going to have a compilation of me doing exactly what I say: buy low, sell high. It's going to be me seeing a good deal on the GTN, buying it for a low price, and then I skip forward to another clip, which is where I sold that for a much higher price. And the profit will vary. Sometimes I'll make a small profit, sometimes I'll make a very large profit. But the point is to show that number one, it works, and then number two, I'm going to be speaking over it, and I'm going to be giving my tips about it, and answering some very important questions that you guys might be asking when it comes to buying low, selling high. And so let's get right into it. The first question you might be asking is, what items do I buy low, sell high with? Because there are tons of items that get introduced into the game, and obviously I'm talking just about cartel market items, because those are the only real things that can make you a ton of profit on the GTN. And the first thing I say is, buy unique looking items. So these are items that have some aspect to them that is very unique, that sticks out, that some players would actually be interested in buying and paying millions of credits for. And generally, you want to stick to just the upper body armor or the helmet when it comes to armor pieces. Okay, that's very important. Don't be investing in lower body armors or boots or belts or stuff like that, because generally those won't sell well at all. Like, it could be months and months have passed, those items are nowhere near existence, no one has any of them, but still you'll see like bronze or silver bracers or belts going for like 2,000 credits on the GTN. And that's just because no one's really going to pay high prices for those. But people will pay high prices for an upper body armor or for a helmet that looks really nice. So definitely those are what you should be investing in. And when it comes to what armor set you want to buy, or what mount or weapon you want to buy, once again, it just needs to have some aspect of it that is unique. For example, one of the items that I learned to buy low, sell high with was the Vengeance Unsealed lightsaber. And when you see this lightsaber itself, you can see it looks very, very unique. I mean, it's got that curvature, it's got that rotating crystal at the bottom, and immediately when I saw this come out many months ago in a cartel pack, I saw it going on the GTN for like 10 to 15,000 credits, and I knew it was going to be a great buy because it looked very unique, it stuck out. I can see why people might want to pay a lot of credits for it. So I bought up a ton of them, held on to them, and then many months later, I sold them for like 500,000 credits or something, and I made hundreds of thousands of credits in profit. And although some of you might be thinking that's not a lot, well, I bought up like tons of them. Like, I'm talking in the 50 to 100 or something, like in that range. I can't really remember. It was a very long time ago. But the point was, since I bought in such bulk, I was able to make a very, very good profit off of it. And the point is, when you're looking for an item to buy, it can't look plain. It can't look simple. It needs to stick out or have something unique to it. And I'll be giving you guys examples as the video goes on. But one question that you can ask yourself to help you decide which item to buy is, would you buy it? Like, would you as a player be willing to pay millions of credits for something? Because what often happens is a player might put up an upper body armor on the GTN for like 4 million credits and hope that it sells. But the point is, even though you might be the only person who has that item, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to sell at that high a price, because no one might be willing to pay those many credits for that item. And so you need to ask yourself, would you pay those many credits for this item? Alright, the second point I want to make is, generally you want to look at items from the newer cartel packs. So when a new cartel pack is released, you can jump into your collections tab and you can see the items that come in, out of that pack. And generally, you don't have to just go for the newest cartel pack, the cartel pack that was released before that one, or even the cartel pack that was released 2 patches ago. Uh, I usually go that far back, and then I just go in collections tab. I look at those items, and then I go and check on the GTN to see what they're going for. Obviously, the newer packs will be the best ones to look at because those just came out, so a lot of people bought them. The market's probably going to be pretty flooded, and so you'll be able to find some really good deals on some of those armor items or just cartel market items in general. I like to look at bronze and silver items. So when I'm trying to find an item to buy low on the GTN, the bronze and silver items are some of the best items to buy for 2 reasons. The first reason is they're usually the cheapest because they're so common. Like, no matter how good a bronze item looks, the fact of the matter is they drop a ton out of those cartel packs. Like, they're the most common items. And so the GTN will most definitely get flooded. And when it does, the prices will drop and you can go ahead and pick those up. The prime examples of when this has turned out to be really profitable was with the Acolyte Shadows packs, where the Revenant Pursuer was a bronze item and it dropped. It was really common. The helmet you could pick up for 20,000 credits on the GTN. The upper body armor was like 5,000 credits, and now the upper body armor sells for like 600, 700k, and the helmet sells for like 2 mil on the GTN. And so these bronze items, they drop no matter how nice they look. I mean, this was a Revenite armor set, so you can tell it was going to be pretty popular, but still the items dropped just because they were bronze rarity and super common. And the second thing is, just because they're bronze or silver, that doesn't necessarily mean they won't sell well in the future. I mean, I have had tons of experience where I bought these for very low prices and then I sold them for anywhere in between 200 to 800,000 credits. I obviously had to wait quite a few months for the market to get unflooded and for all that junk on the market that's going for like 20,000 credits to go, and then I can put up my items for much higher prices. But the fact of the matter is, they do sell at higher prices. And the important thing to remember is gold items can drop as well. Even though gold items are rare and some of them might even look super nice, they do have a tendency to drop. And usually that happens when there's a very special event or something, like for example, blowout sales. Right now, with all the previous alliance packs, what ends up happening is, before Bioware takes them off the cartel market, they go on blowout sale where they're 50 to 55% off. And at that point, if a lot of people buy those packs, the GTN gets very, very flooded, and gold items can drop as low as 50,000 credits for the upper body armor or the helmet. That happened with the Zakul Knight Captain's armor set from the Anarchist packs, and I bought up a ton. It happened with the Underworld Anarchist armor set from those packs as well, and I was able to rack up a ton of them for very, very cheap prices. So gold items can drop. I have seen gold mounts that are super nice drop to insanely low prices. For example, the Frontline Gapillion from the Revenge pack, that's 150k credits on the GTN. That is an absolute super low price for a gold mount. Also, the Swamp Rancor from the Anarchist packs, or the Arbor Macrin from the newest Battler packs, those have dropped lower than 2 million credits, and so I'm quick to pick those up for 2 million credits because I know I can sell them for much, much higher in the future. And so gold items can drop as well. Also, items tend to drop from these packs when more people buy that pack. And so, for example, the Gemini packs. Not a lot of people bought those packs. They were pretty unpopular, and you can tell by the number of items on the GTN. The GTN was not flooded at all, and so the prices from the items from this pack tend to go for very high prices on the GTN. A very similar example are the Plunderers packs. Initially, a lot of people bought the Plunderers packs. The GTN was pretty flooded, but very quickly, less people were buying the packs, and the prices on the GTN rose extremely high. And so generally, when a pack sells super well, that's when the GTN will get flooded the most, and that's when you can go and find these really good deals. One other thing to keep in mind is that the more expensive an item is, the more profit you will make because it scales. So for example, if you're buying a bronze armor set, or let's say you're buying a bronze helmet, okay, so a helmet that is of bronze rarity, and you bought it for 5,000 credits on the GTN, and then a few months later you sell it for 120,000 credits. Okay, that's not much, and in my case I can buy it in bulk, so it will kind of add up, but some players might not be able to buy it in bulk, and so they're just making a little bit of credits for waiting so many months. But for example, I've also bought the Arbiter Saber for like 7 million credits off the GTN and then sold it for like 20 something million credits. So although I invested in many more credits into the initial purchase, I was able to make many more credits and profit as well. And so the more expensive of an item you buy, the more profit you will make. The same could be said with the Swamp Rancors. I'm buying them at 2 million credits each, or at least I did buy them at 2 million credits each when the Anarchist packs were available. And that racks up to a ton. Like I have 40 sitting in my cargo bay. That's 80 million credits right there that I put into that. But if I can make even just a million credits profit for each of those, which is really low, let's say I resold all of them for 3 million each, I'm making like 40 million credits in profit. And so the more credits I put in, the more credits I was able to make out of it. So that's also one thing to keep in mind. So the second question you might be asking is when to sell your item. Let's say you followed my advice, or you were able to find some really good deals on the GTN and you bought a bunch of items at low prices. So the question you might be asking is, when do I sell them? Well, the first thing is, and the easiest policy to follow, is when you're happy with the profit that you make. Like for example, I have had instances where I decided to go ahead and sell an item that I've been sitting on for a very long time, and I made like 200,000 credits in profit, and then a month later I realized that they were selling for like 400, 500k more expensive than what I had sold them for, and so I could have made much more of a profit. But the point was, when I did originally sell them, I was happy with the profit I was making, and so I'm not going to think or regret my decision, because at the end of the day I was happy with the amount of credits I made. And there are a lot of times when I'll look at an item that I've been sitting on for a very long time, and I'll see that it's still going for a very big profit. And I could make a profit if I sold it at that price, but I'd rather just hold on to it because I'm not happy with that profit. I know I can make more, or I feel or have a sense that I can make more, and so I'm not going to go ahead and put it up on the GTN. So don't rush to sell your items. Don't just say, oh, I've been sitting on this item for so long, what's the point? I'll just throw it on the GTN and try to sell it. Because I'll only go ahead and sell it when I'm happy with the profit I'm making, and if I'm not, I have no problem with just throwing it back in my cargo bay and waiting until it goes up for a reasonable price on the GTN. Now, a very important policy to remember is the longer you wait, the more profit you will make. And so a lot of people might get impatient, right? They might buy an item and wait a month and then be like, okay, it's been embargoed, but the prices just aren't going up on the GTN, and so screw it, I'll just go ahead and sell it. But the policy I always follow is, no, I'll just wait. The longer I wait, the more profit I'll make, because, and that's a pretty good mnemonic too, the longer you wait, the more profit you'll make. I just remember that, because at the end of the day, the more you wait, the less the GTN gets flooded, the less items there are on the GTN, and the more chance there will be that you're one of the only people who has a certain item. And then no matter what the rarity of that item was, it could have been bronze, it could have been silver, it could have been super common when you bought it, but the fact of the matter is, it will be a lot rarer now, and you can sell it for very high prices, because chances are, if you're on a highly populated server, like the Harbinger, Red Eclipse, or Ebon Hawk or something, you're going to find a person who's willing to pay the high prices for that item. A prime example is the Shea Vizsla chest guard, which once again dropped from that Acolyte Shadows pack. This Shea Vizsla chest guard, it was gold rarity, but man, it sold for like 30 to 35,000 credits, and I didn't buy up a ton, and that's one of my biggest regrets, because now that chest guard goes for over 1 million credits on the Harbinger server. And so yeah, the people who waited, sat on that item, and decided to sell it now, they're going to make a killing. So the longer you wait, the chances are you're going to be the only one who has that item, and you can go ahead and sell it on the GTN and make millions of credits in profit. However, that doesn't mean you just keep waiting, because there are instances where if you wait too long, the GTN can actually get flooded again, because Bioware does bring packs back. And so for example, if someone had items from the Acolyte Shadows packs and they were sitting on it for like a long time, well, now the Acolyte Shadows packs have been brought back on the cartel market, so the GTN is going to get flooded all over again. And so that person who's sitting on their items, they've waited way too long to sell them. So it is kind of an art to know when you have to sell them. For me personally, I will follow this. I will wait 1 to 2 months after the pack has been embargoed, and then I will constantly look to sell. So for example, let's say I've waited 1 to 2 months and I see that my item is that I bought for like 20,000 credits is now selling for 200,000 credits. Well, then once again decide, is that a profit that you're happy with? If it is a profit you're happy with, go ahead and sell it. If it's not, you just keep waiting until it goes up on the GTN for higher prices. Let's say in a few days it's going for now 500k and you're really happy with that, then go ahead and try to sell it. But I will wait 1 to 2 months after it's embargoed from the cartel market, because it will reach higher and higher potential as time goes on. The second thing is, I generally, personally, tend to wait 5 to 6 months. So I've said that you should wait 1 to 2 months, and that is a general rule. But I wait like 5 to 6 months because I want to sell it for as much as I can possibly sell it for, and I have so many other sources of revenue in the game. Like I sell companion gifts and all that kind of stuff, and so I have no need for credits, and so I'm able to wait 5 to 6 months. But not every player is able to do that. So for those players who aren't, they can wait way less time if they want to. In this particular video, and I know I haven't been talking about the video much, but what you guys saw was just me selling items. I sold them very quickly, so I didn't wait very long time. I picked up an item, I saw it was going for cheaper than what it normally goes for, and then I went ahead and sold it for much higher prices, and I sold it just in the span of like a few days. And so I didn't wait months, as I'm saying, and I was still able to make a really good profit. So that goes to show that whether you wait 5 to 6 months or whether you wait a few days, you can still make a ton of credits buying low, selling high. And this leads me to a very important point: buy in bulk. That is just the motto for people who buy low and sell high on the GTN, because especially when you're dealing with bronze armor pieces or silver armor pieces which sell for like under 30k on the GTN, if you have just a normal amount of credits, like keep in mind you can do heroics and make millions of credits in like an hour or 2 hours. Use those credits to buy these silver and bronze items in bulk. And the reason is, keep in mind, let's say you make 100k profit on a certain bronze item. Now, after having waited months or whatever, you've only made 100k, that's pretty bad. But if you bought 100 of those items, that becomes 10 million credits. And so that's no longer just 100k in profit, that's 10 million credits. And I buy literally hundreds of these items, like hundreds. Of a certain bronze armor set, I'll have hundreds of the upper body armor, I'll have hundreds of the supplementary body armor, I'll have hundreds of mounts and stuff like that. And I'm actually going to be showing off my collection, or my hoarding, really, my big hoard of items in a future video. But the point is, that is very easy to do because these items go for super cheap on the GTN. And so keep in mind, the more of these items you buy, the more profit you'll make, and the more profitable it will be to actually wait like 2 to 3 months to sell a certain item. Because for normal people, that's a long time. Those players are like, no, I want to make my credits already, I want to buy a certain item off the GTN, I don't want to wait 2 to 3 months. But keep in mind, if you buy in bulk, then that wait might actually be worth it. So now let's go into a very quick real-time example to show you guys how to apply some of the tips I gave. So the battler packs just came out, and here's what I would do. The first thing I notice is the Nightlife Operative armor set. It is a super nice looking armor set. It's very aesthetically pleasing to me. I can see why a lot of people might want to buy it in the future. And I also see that it's going for super cheap on the GTN. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be keeping my eye on it for the next few weeks. And I'm going to be seeing whether the supplementary or the upper body armor drops to a very low price. For me, a low price for the helmet is usually anything under 15,000 credits. It is bronze rarity, and so that's pretty low, but it's bronze. It's probably going to drop that low. And for the upper body armor, since it's a super nice looking upper body armor, I'll be buying it under 30 or 20k. So if it drops under that price, I'll be picking those up in bulk. The Outer Rim armor set. Now immediately I see that this is a reskin of some armor sets. I don't think the upper body armor looks too nice, but the helmet is the real prize from that. I mean, that's got the whole Nico Okar smuggler look to it. A lot of people might want to buy that. The only other model of that in the game is available through the Bounty Brokers Association reputation vendor, or the other one's from a gold armor set, so that's going to be gold rarity, so it's a little bit more rare. And so I'll be looking into buying only the supplementary body armor. I won't look into anything else unless it's super cheap, like I'm talking under 3,000 credits cheap. Otherwise, I'm just going to be looking for the helmet. I also look at the Dark Augur armor set. Now this is silver, and I don't think the helmet looks good at all. It's very ugly. I'll leave that alone. I'm not going to deal with that. But the upper body armor looks pretty nice, and so I'll also be keeping my eye on the GTN, seeing whether that drops, and I can buy that as well. Now the Unshakeable Troopers armor set, this is a perfect example of one of those plain looking, very simple armor sets that I said don't really deal with. Okay, there's nothing really unique to this, there's no backstory behind it. I personally don't think it looks too good, and I don't think people are going to be willing to pay hundreds of thousands of credits for it in the future. And so that's an armor set that I just completely disregard and say I'm not going to look at it at all. It might sell well, actually, I don't know, but for me personally, I wouldn't pay hundreds of thousands of credits for that, and so I'm going to leave that aside. Now the sabers are pretty nice, and I'm going to be keeping my eye on those as well. That's a nice looking silver weapon. That's probably going to drop pretty low on the GTN. Some of the gold items though, the companion, the crystals, the ruthless scion, and the Zakulan specialist, those are really nice gold items. They're probably going to go super expensive on the GTN. But what if the battle packs go on blowout sale? What if something happens? I don't know. I'll only be buying those if they drop at a really low price. Otherwise, once again, you have to completely disregard them. Your credits are much better spent buying like things like the Nightlife Operatives, Nightlife Operative Supplementary or Upper Body Armor in bulk and buying a ton of them rather than spending a million or millions of credits buying these gold items for what you might think is a low price. And also the gold mounts. Okay, once again, if those gold mounts drop below 2 million credits, pick them up. With companions, I just look to see whether the companion's good or not. It's quite easy to see whether it's good. The Isotope 5 droid is a very good companion. It's large. It's probably going to be very desirable. If that drops in between the 2 to 3 million credit range, I'm also going to be looking to picking that up because it's probably going to sell for a lot in the future. And finally, I'll just end this video with the way I look at it is that you can't go wrong by buying something for a super low price. So for example, what if I spent millions of credits buying the Swamp Ranker for 2 million credits, right? What if you worked so hard and you finally made 50 million credits and you see that the Swamp Ranker is going for 2 million credits and so you buy 25 of them? You might be thinking to yourself, have I wasted all my credits? What did I do? Well, the fact of the matter is you can't really go wrong because you'll probably be able to resell that Swamp Ranker for 2 million in the worst case scenario. Like in the absolute worst case scenario where you put those up for like 5 or 6 mil in the future and no one buys them, if you put them up for 2 mil, they'll probably sell really, really well. And so you'll make your credits back. There's no worries about that. But that's actually the rare scenario. The chances are you're going to be able to sell it at some sort of profit and you're going to be able to make a profit off of that. So that's the way I look at it. In the worst case scenario, I'll be able to resell these items and get my credits back, but the chances of that are super low, and in the majority of the cases, I'll be able to make some sort of profit off of this, and since I buy in bulk, I'll be making a very large profit, and overall, this is just the way I make credits. I like to buy low, sell high on the GTN. It's a way by which I can make credits by doing very little. It doesn't take a lot of time for me to go on the GTN and keep my eye on these items. Usually it takes me like 20-30 minutes a day for me to look at the items, and I'll be able to pick up the good deals. And also putting up auctions and undercutting people on the GTN. Also, getting item listing expiries out of your mail. That doesn't take a lot of time at all. Once again, it takes me like 30 minutes a day. And so that's not hard for me. It's a way by which I can get filthy rich and not have to really put a lot of effort or work into, grinding, credits, farming, crafting, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, this video is very long, but I did want to make a kind of comprehensive guide about buying low, selling on the GTN because that's what I recommend to a lot of my subscribers who watch my videos. And I really do hope you guys found this video helpful. I really hope you guys found it enjoyable. And if you go ahead, if you have a question, just leave it in the comment section. I'll be sure to answer you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.